Hey, it is Chef Rene Johnson. I am here tonight, and this is going to be a two-part video because it's my first time making this. But I am here tonight and I'm going to make a cassava leaf soup. So let me tell you how I came up with cassava leaf soup. I have a cousin who has a honey and he makes us all kind of wonderful African dishes. And I know he gets tired of us asking him, how do you do it? Or can you make it for us? Can you make it for us? So I said, I'm gonna make my own stuff and this is what we're doing. And the other thing I want to talk to you guys about is that I love soul food. I do, but soul food for me can sometimes be like a one-note thing. I mean, you can only make mac and cheese so many ways. You can only make greens so many ways. You can only smother chicken so many ways. So I love to make food from other cultures. I love beautiful food. I love food with color. That's how that peri peri chicken came about, is because I love food with color. I love all the different spices that other cultures have. I love curry. I love Burberry seasoning. I love ginger. I love allspice. I love all those things. I love a real curry leaf in fresh cabbage. So I'm going to be doing more of these type of videos as well because I love all kind of cultures of food, and I'm going to take you guys with me on that journey. So be ready. Oh, let me show you. I have my cassava leaves here. These are not fresh cassava leaves. They're frozen. I had to go directly to the African market to get these. I'm going to put some goat in here. I'm going to have my fresh onions. So I'm going to give you guys all of the recipe and all of my ingredients in 1 second. There is another thing I want to share with you. There's a couple of different recipes on how to make cassava leaf soup. One recipe calls for you putting in a squash or a piece of zucchini and put it in your blender and blending it all up. I'm not making that one tonight. I may make it another night. You guys know I like to do stuff that's quick and easy and stuff that we can do. You know, I really want to do only recipes that have 5 steps, but it doesn't always work out that way. So I'm going to do a quick rendition of this. I'm going to see how it tastes. We will let you guys know how it turns out. I hope that you guys enjoy it, and I'm going to show you guys the next step shortly. Okay, so what I have here is my frozen cassava leaves that I got from the African store. I have some dried crayfish. I have some shrimp that we made shrimp tacos with. You know, it's COVID. I don't believe in throwing things away. The recipe calls for some shrimp, so I'm going to use some shrimp that I already have. We'll see what happens with this. I have a cup of palm oil here. I have a half a cup of onion. And I'm going to use some goat in mine. They say use whatever meat that you choose. The ones that we have, I think that our guy usually use chicken, but we're going to use goat in ours. And then I'm going to put this in my skillet. I'm going to show you guys each step, but I just wanted to show you the ingredients that I'm using for this particular recipe. And again, there's all kind of recipes out there. I'm just using this one, and I guess I'm putting my own little spin on it because I'm using some shrimp that I had already. There's nothing wrong with it. Let's see what happens. That means we're repurposing some shrimp that is really good. Let's see what happens. Okay, see you at the next step. Okay, so I'm at the stove, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start adding my ingredients. I'm going to share with you my steps. So I'm going to bring my camera down. And there we go. So what I'm going to do is add my palm oil. I am going to add my onions. And my pan is on medium high. It's on like 6. I'm going to add my goat. And the recipe calls for sauteing this all together. I'm going to add my shrimp. I only had a teaspoon of shrimp, you guys. And I'm gonna add my crayfish. And they say you cook this for about 5 to 7 minutes till your meat is seared. I'm gonna add my seasonings, and I have a little bit of garlic, a little bit of granulated garlic, a little bit of granulated onion, and some pepper. And then I also added a little smoked paprika to mine because the recipe that I'm looking at called for a piece of smoked meat, and I didn't have a ham hock, I didn't have a piece of smoked turkey neck, so I am, you know, making it do what it do with what I got. So I will show you guys the next step in a minute. Okay, so this recipe calls for some chicken stock. I don't have any chicken stock, so what I'm going to do is make my own, of course. So I'm going to add 2 cups of water, and then I have a little bit of Better Than Bouillon right here. So that's what I use for chicken stock. Let me see, I'm trying to be clever. Then the next thing they say is you're gonna add about 2/3 cup of peanut butter. So it says for 4 to 5 tablespoons for this recipe. I am guessing about 2/3 cup, because that's what that is. And now we're to cook this until it's tender. Currently, I do have a guest appearance from one of my grandchildren, as you guys see often in my videos. Would you like to say hi? Let's see. Say hi. There he is. So when you guys hear a little voice, that's my buddy. And so that's my guest appearance. Say bye. Say bye-bye. Okay, so we're going to let this cook until it becomes tender. I'm turning up my heat. I'm going to let this cook until it becomes tender, and then I'm going to add my cassava leaves and let it cook again for about another hour and a half. So I'll show you guys what the different stages of it, what it looks like in between while I'm cooking it. I haven't added my cassava leaves yet. I'm going to let this cook until it's tender. And did you guys know that when you put peanut butter in a meal or in chicken, it is a tenderizer anyway, so this is not going to take long for this to get tender. Okay, so now my soup is boiling. I'm going to show you guys my soup boiling. And it's awfully watery, but it's supposed to be watery because it's going to cook down and it's going to thicken. I'm going to also put a scotch bonnet on top of here. I'm not going to break it up. There are recipes where you blend all of that together, and I'm going to try that recipe. I just didn't do it tonight for time purposes. But it's thick, right? I mean, it's very watery right now, but as it cooks down, it's going to get thicker and thicker and thicker and thicker. And this, you know, I thought that it would have more ingredients, but it's really a super simple recipe. It's all in how you put it together. So I will show you guys it again in a little while. I wanted to show you guys this other step right here. I have a scotch bonnet on top of my cassava leaf soup, and I also I'm letting it come to a rolling boil because that's going to take all the moisture out. So as it cooks, I'm going to show you guys how it's thickening up and the different stages of it, but I've placed my scotch bonnet on top of it. So it's been cooking now for maybe about 45 minutes, and it's starting to thicken up. It's still boiling. I got it on a lower boil. I lowered the temperature because I want to make sure that we get all the flavors of the cassava leaves. I did a royal tasting and it is off the hook wonderful already. So I just wanted you guys to see. It's been cooking for about 45 minutes now. I'm gonna cook it about another 20 minutes, maybe 30, to make sure that my cassava leaf is real tender, because you don't want your cassava leaf to feel grainy in your mouth. And I tasted it, and I could tell the difference from when we get it from our buddy, how that texture feels. So I'm gonna cook it again longer for about another 30 to 45 minutes to make sure that my cassava leaf is nice and tender. So our cassava leaf soup has been cooking for a while now, and you can see that the color has changed on it. First, when we started cooking it, it was a nice bright green. Now it's turned into a rich army green. I'm gonna show it to you. And I've also added a few more habanero peppers to it because our family, well, I didn't like it that much until I got into this house. You know, they love spice. Even my little grandbaby, he wants it hot, hot, hot. So we've added more habaneros to it. And we're gonna cook it down a little bit longer. Guess what? Our cassava leaf soup is done. And I have to say, it is pretty amazing. It is not boogaloo. You know, that's one of my favorite words. It's not boogaloo like it could have been. It's absolutely amazing. So I'm going to show you the final product. It's boiling in the pot here. And I left